Thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction. I want to return the favor just a moment. Elderworks doesn't, excuse me, Elderworks doesn't brag nearly enough about themselves. We are so fortunate to have them in the community. I probably call on them weekly with referring them to a client looking for resources. And we're located just about 5 minutes from Elderworks, and they put out this, I hope you all have one or stop by the Elderworks office to get one. They put out this amazing directory. We're a supporter of the organization, so you'll find us in there in a few pages. And it's just the place that you call when something happens. Don't mess with the yellow pages. Don't just take one referral from someone, but when you need, they've vetted scores of home care agencies, nursing homes, and other organizations, and it's just a great place to call. So first, I'd like to introduce my team here. I've got Katya in the back, a great resource. I have Rod doing some photography for us today, and want to welcome, say hi to them. Also, like you to meet Sophie. Nothing to be afraid of here. Her name is Greek. The meaning is wisdom and strength, and that's something that I think we're all looking for in some way, shape, or form. Has anyone been to church or a party ever? Raise a hand. Okay, you raised your hand first. Okay, just like church or at a party, I think it's a nice thing to look to the left and the right, and maybe say hi to the person that's next to you or in back of you. Just flash them a smile or a high five, or just say hello. It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to do. So, is anyone attending the Expo for the first time? Is this your first time at the Expo? Well, you just happen to be my lucky day. Are these iconic? Are these cool? I haven't seen these for a long time. Barnum and Bailey animal crackers. Okay. So yeah, it's a jungle out there, but you've met Sophie, and you can see there's nothing to be afraid of there. And I'm thinking, how about if we skip the scary jungle part and just go right to maybe taking a deep breath and thinking about this. There's been an accident, an illness, a stroke, and there's a sudden need for non-medical care. And this is something that medical insurance, Medicare supplement, and Medicare does not pay for. But you're all calm. How can that be? Take another deep breath with me. Sure, you or your loved one needs care, but you've got a plan in place. You've got a tax-free income stream of money coming in every month to pay for it. And all you need to do is make a couple phone calls. You make a call to your care coordinator to set up your claim, and maybe to Elderworks to get that same day or next day home care going in your home or other resources. And there's money to pay for it. So that's kind of what I want you to think about. And how are we going to do this? Well, today we're going to talk about what is long-term care and who pays for it. We're going to see samples of plan types that I've done for real families, just like you, and costs, and also learn the many ways of funding a plan. Funding is the way that you pay for a plan. And some of you have never seen some of these things before. So I'm curious. I have 2 booths here. We're the diamond sponsor for our 3rd year here. And I thank Elderworks for acknowledging that. Who's in here in this room today because you stopped at the booth and my staff talked you into coming in to listen? Okay, an animal cracker, somebody. Gift for someone. Okay. And just 2 other things. If you can't hear me, please let me know. If you can't see, please move up. And if I mess up, just laugh it off and flow with it. Okay, is that a deal? All right, let's begin. Okay, it's a jungle out there. There is a little mess up on this slide that happened in transit, so please bear with me. I think the rest of them are in good shape. But this is our office building in downtown Palatine. It goes back to 1877. We gutted it in 1985 and general contracted it ourselves, opened it in 86. And it's our headquarters of our business home. We don't live there. We live nearby, but not there. And we have tenants upstairs. But we're going to talk about aging well, living well, staying well, what is long-term care and who pays for it, and talk about the plan types, like I said. So I'm going to try to advance the slide here and hope it goes with me. I need to show that. Okay. Elephant in the room. We talked about that a little bit. Nothing to be afraid of. But what happens is we put some of these topics on the back burner because we're in denial, we're embarrassed to talk about, thinking about aging and needing care someday, afraid of it, procrastination, it can be awkward, confusing, but we're gonna bypass all that and we're gonna go right back to that deep breath we took and think about having your plans in place and having that tax-free stream of income coming in every month, that you planned for it, and while you didn't plan to need care, you need it, and life is going to change, but you've got your plans in place. So I like to talk a little bit about staying well first, rather than just getting into the mechanics here, but it said that our lifespan can be defined as to how long we're going to live, but what about our health span? Everybody's technology is moving so fast, and there's things coming at us all the time about staying healthy, but health span is that period of time spent in good health and free from chronic illness and the disabilities of aging. But lifespan, we can end up living to 100 or so, and what if 50 of those years were spent in ill health? So I think health span is just as important, if not more important, than lifespan, and I'd like to do something about that, and I try to do that with every client I visit with. So what are the odds? Most people walk around saying it's never going to happen to me, but every one of us in this room knows someone. It's either a family member, another loved one, or a friend that has someone that's receiving care. Nursing homes, been in an accident, home care, MS, all types of things. So home care, the industry average notes that most home care clients are seniors with an average age of 69 years old. I think that's kind of surprising. It seems young, but that's the average. 24/7 nursing home care. The leading long-term care association reports the average age of residents in long-term care facilities is about 85. Why is that so different than the other? Well, when the need for care strikes, we generally try to take care of things with friends, family, people close to us, and try to have that care taken at home. And the nursing home comes when so many resources and care is overpowering, and we need to then have a facility and have the equipment to take care of us. So assisted living, average age there, 87. People delay transitioning with assisted living until their 80s. And that doesn't mean that's going to happen to you, because we're going to be living so long that these numbers could all change. But the prevalence of long-term care planning, this was interesting. According to industry research, only about 3 or 4% of people over 50 have done some sort of long-term care plans. In other words, roughly 96% lack a formal plan. And you cannot take a breath, and you cannot relax, and you cannot be calm when a crisis strikes in your home if you don't have any kind of plan in place. And for the wealthy, it's about tax strategy. So whether you have the money to pay for it or not, maybe you're not in such a panic that you're plowing through your retirement assets, but there's still tax strategies there that the wealthy appreciate as well. So we're going to talk about age well, live well, and staying well, to have a conversation about it. Age well, to me, things that come to mind are sing, stretch, and strengthen. You might think that's silly, but a quick hello is all it takes for others to judge how old we are. Jane Fonda, she took care of her body, but her voice is really old. If you've heard any of her commercials, men's voices go up, women's voices go down. But singing impacts our immunity. It keeps us happy. It's for lung, mental health, all kinds of things, physical and emotional pain it deals with. Singing is exercise for the voice, isn't it? Or if you say, oh, I can't sing, who cares? Sing in the shower, sing in the car, sing on your way shopping. So sing and socialize. Socializing is important. Being alone is not a good thing. And it means you're not talking a lot to people. So exercising that voice with speech and with song and having music in your life, that's good stuff. Stretching. I saw a chiropractor a number of years ago, and they had me do this exercise for my neck that helped for a pain that I had in my neck for 2 years. And ever since then, it's been a long time now, I stretch every day before I leave the master bedroom. And I have water there too. I have a couple bottles, just little bottles of water. I have baskets of these around the house. Really good thing to do in the morning, but maintaining mobility can be difficult if you don't stretch. If you don't have things stretched out, you can't bend over, you can't get up off of the floor if you fell down. So you don't want to be that I fell in and I can't get up person, right? So you want to stretch for flexibility. It increases your circulation. It really feels good in the morning to start the day like that. Also reduces lower back pain if you do that every day. Think of all the things you can do on your bed. Most people have a tall bed, the hurl stretch, all kinds of things. Arms over the head, stand against the wall, do things. But again, it's easy to do that first thing in the morning, and then it's out of the way. Spend 10 minutes doing that, and I swear you'll be happy with the rest of your life that you did that. Strengthen. You've heard a lot about strength training. It's all over the place. It's very, very important. We have issues like osteoporosis, osteopenia, and other things, falls that happen. And a lot of it has to do with because we don't have any leg strength. So it enhances our quality of life. It improves our ability to do everything, and protects our joints from injury, and helps with coordination, all that. I'm a multitasker, so I might be standing on one leg when I'm brushing my teeth or doing backward leg lifts. There's all kinds of time in the day, no matter how busy you are. And think of the shopping cart. I've seen people do this. They're standing there with their fingertips on the shopping cart and put one leg up while they're waiting in line. It's just another way to strengthen that other leg. So, because if we don't make time for exercise now, we'll have no choice but to make time for illness later. And the only pain I want in my life is my drink of choice when I have a cocktail, and it is champagne. So we can't predict emergencies, but we can prepare for some of them. And I like to talk to people. I do this when people come into my office about security systems and features for safety in their home. Keep the bad guys out with the security system when you're at home or away from home. Years ago, my father-in-law said this when my husband was going out of town. My husband is Jim Brandt, my business partner. He's at booth 103 with Cade, who's sitting in that room with us too. And he said to me one time, he goes, I cannot tell you, he was 6'5", by the way, he was a big man. He says, I can't tell you how comforting it is. His wife had passed away, my mother-in-law. I can't tell you how comforting it is to know that no one's in my house when I come home. Oh my, we didn't have a security system then. It was in the 90s, but we sure did after that. I told my husband, you're not leaving town again until we have it installed. I think we had AT&T installed. They don't charge anything for the installation. You just pay a monthly fee. So they come in with thousands of dollars of equipment, which goes with you move. And I'm not promoting AT&T, but that's who it was. And am I saying that right? AT&T, do they have they have security? Yeah, AT, that's the phone company, AT&T.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
Xfinity?
No, it's an A company. ADT, not AT&T. There we go, ADT. Anyway, and then the shower. Simple things like grab bars in the shower. The shower is the most dangerous place in your house if you're alone. You fall in the shower and you got a problem, right? Because you don't have your phone in there. I swear, if I were 30 years old and I live alone, I would have I fallen and I can't get up. I would have some kind of, I'd have some kind of service. So that if I, seriously, if you live alone, to have one of those monitors so that you could call for help. I think that's important. You can connect for help with some kind of an alert system or a smartwatch. I just think that's a good idea. These are things to keep us out of needing care. So I think we have to do all the things that we can, protect our home, protect our belongings, protect ourselves like that. So staying well, don't skip annual medical and dental checkups. Some people, you know, with inadequate insurance might be skipping the medical and dental appointment. I have people come, I handle Medicare supplements as well. And I have people come in, we do the drug plan search for them. I have people come in with 10, 11, 12, 13 medications they're taking. Somebody's got to, that's got to be coordinated. Question, you know, that there are contraindications on so many of the medications people are taking. And sometimes they're prescribed these things and they just take them for years and years and don't ever question them. But please be your own advocate and take an active role in your health and ask about things. We did have a friend that passed away. He was taking 10, 11 things and he was slipping and falling and stuttering and couldn't think straight. And who could think straight with taking 11, 12 medications? So he just didn't want to question his doctor about it. But I think we have to be smart consumers and we have to be our own advocate in that area. So have our screenings, have our mammography, colonoscopy. Nobody likes to do this stuff, but bone density, lifeline screenings and thermographies out there for preventive, and cardiac CT to check on the heart health. If you're approaching 65 or already 65, consider a Medicare supplement that's got preventive screenings on it. And there are plans that do have that.
All right.
Understanding long-term care. You are about to learn the 3 most important things to understand about long-term care. First, what is long-term care? Second, where do you receive long-term care? Third, the hidden significance of long-term care on the people you love, the people you've invited into your life. What is long-term care? Long-term care is care that is needed over an extended period and comes in 3 types. One type of long-term care is personal care. sometimes called custodial care. It's when you may need help with various tasks we do each day, but take for granted when we were healthy, such as eating, getting dressed, or walking. The second type of long-term care is skilled care, for which you need a skilled specialist or nurse. The third type of long-term care is supervisory care if you get Alzheimer's or other kinds of dementia. Where do you receive long-term care? Long-term care often evokes images of a nursing home, and while that is a subset of care, most people prefer to stay at home or receive care in an assisted living facility where they can be with other people. The hidden significance of long-term care on the people you love. It's of critical importance to understand what long-term care does not just to you, but to loved ones, both emotionally and financially. Long-term care causes you to be unable to fully care for yourself, and it impacts those you love by requiring their full attention. Will it be from your husband or wife? One of your adult daughters or sons? What impact will that have on them? You may say, I would never ask those I love to care for me. None of us want that. But if we fail to adequately plan, what choice are we leaving them? Of course, they will want to help as best as they can. Proper planning can help you afford and access the care you need so that your family can stay focused on caring about you and not for you. That planning often includes the right insurance to directly help you and also help the people you've invited into your life. Now that you know the 3 most important things about long-term care, it's time to have an insurance specialist help you be better prepared for long-term care.
I like to hear things twice when I'm hearing something new. So this is kind of reviewing and expanding on what we just heard. We don't want to confuse it with healthcare. It doesn't refer to medical insurance or just receiving skilled care. And it's not just being in a nursing home. Long-term care is not a policy, a medical care or a place. It's that personal care or supervision that we might need if we need help at any age. And that could be for an extended period of time or a short period of time. We'd still call that non-medical care. So it can happen due to an accident, stroke, chronic illness, cognitive impairment. And these are things that no medical insurance, Medicare or Medicare supplement pays for. First 100 days, if we need skilled care after when we're on Medicare, but beyond that, we're on our own. And a long-term care plan, whether it's a policy or a pot of money, is designed to have those funds accumulated so that you can pay for care with tax-free funds. It wouldn't be tax-free if it was your own savings account, but when money is repositioned into these plans, it does come out tax-free. So down at the bottom, funding it, that's the way to pay for it. So that is a specialty of mine, helping people find places to get the money so that, and also if you're working with someone, you want to make sure that you work with someone independent that's able to show you all, not just some of the plans. You don't just want to look at one thing or one type, because there's probably never been more ways to solve this problem than there is now. Okay, so some people prefer to remain at home when they need care, and that's when friends and family are gathering around and we're trying to figure out what to do next. But a long-term care plan will cover you at home for that in-home care, that informal care, and as well as a long-term care facility and everything in between. So assisted living, hospice, adult daycare, memory care. So that would be a comprehensive long-term care plan, and they all, the premier companies that have the plans, they all cover everything from the home care to the facility care. You might have a plan from the way back machine that only covers nursing home care when home care wasn't too prevalent, but policies of today cover everything in between. Claiming policy benefits, how we become eligible for benefits is the same across all different types of plans. And basically we're eligible to receive benefits when a medical professional has determined and given us like a prescription that we become chronically ill and we need some help with the daily activities of living. This is not needing skilled care. Like we might get some skilled care after a knee replacement or hip replacement or surgery or an accident, but that care that we need as we age or have other debilitating things happen to us where we don't need a skilled person around us. So to qualify, the way to trigger benefits is we need assistance in 2 of 6, just 2 of 6 of those activities of daily living, ADLs we call them, the transferring, toileting, continence, bathing, dressing, and eating. And if you think about it, when you get up in the morning, most of those you go through, most of those you need to be able to do before you even leave the master bedroom. You have to be able to get up and transfer out of bed, get to the shower, dress yourself. Hopefully you've been continent for the night, and it's only then do we, when we going on for breakfast, after we've done all those things, go on to eating. So most of those activities of daily living are, impact us at first thing in the morning. So generally there's a 90-day waiting period, and we're also able to receive benefits if we need continual supervision due to cognitive assistance. You might be able to do all those activities, but you might have dementia or Alzheimer's or other cognitive impairment. So you qualify for benefits with that as well. So after the waiting period, whatever that is, some plans pay after 0 days, some are 90 days. After that, in general, once we become eligible, with that elimination period behind us, and that starts on the first day we become chronically ill. Once that has been satisfied, we are now receiving funds on generally a monthly basis, on a tax-free basis for covered services. Some of the plans are cash and you can spend it as you choose, as long as you're qualified in the 2 of 6 category there. Others are reimbursement, where you must use certified agencies that can bill you. But if I want to use you as my informal caregiver, the cash plans that let me pay you because I have a monthly check, then I can spend any way I choose. I can use it for lawn service, I can use it for housekeeping, I can use it to pay a friend. So as long as we remain eligible, benefits for covered services are paid to us from our pool of benefits. How much is the pool of benefits? It depends on the size of the plan you buy. So everything we do is custom. It could be how much you want to spend, or I can show you what I recommend and then let you know what it's going to cost and everything in between. So if somebody says I have $100 a month and that's all I can afford for long-term care, then we make a plan, just like going to the grocery store with $100 in your wallet. You get $100 worth of groceries, you're going to get $100 of benefits. Who pays for care? This is small, but this sheet is in your folders in our black bags, our grant bags. So this is talking about a common misconception that Medicare pays for care. And if you can see in that first column, just a little bit there, Medicare, we talked about the first 100 days, but for assisted living, this is non-medical care now, does not pay. Private medical insurance, again, that 0 to 100 days if you need skilled care, but beyond that, assisted living, continuing care, adult daycare, not covered. On the next slide, it's going to say people are shocked when they come in for Medicare supplement planning. About 50% of them think that Medicare covers that, and when they turn 65, they're going to have all these wonderful non-medical benefits, and it's just not the case, unfortunately. Medicaid in Illinois, you have to spend down to $2,000. We're going to talk about Illinois being a partnership state in a little bit and how important that is. And what we're left for is to pretty much pay on our own. If we're not in need of skilled care and plow through that first 100 days, the rest is on us. So just like we plan for retirement, we have to plan for these eventualities too. So medical insurance and Medicare don't pay. Shock. Personal medical insurance, group insurance, Medicare, and supplements never pay the cost. Discussed, Medicare may pay for short-term care up to 100 days maximum, but only if skilled care is needed. Rehab, wound care, things like that. But Medicare never covers the cost of non-medical or extended care. Some call it extended care. When we talk about risk management, we take protective measures to cover and insure for and protect us for everything. From medical insurance for sickness and health, we get auto insurance to protect our car and transportation. We have life and disability insurance to care for the family and provide income for them. And we have our homeowners insurance, but somehow protecting our retirement plan and our assets with a long-term care plan gets put on the back burner. It's the last thing on the list. And why is that? Probably because we've been paying for college and mortgage and other things became a priority, trying to put some money aside just for living. So should we not have a plan to remain independent as we age and ensure our retirement savings just like we do everything else? So it's personal choice, but it's just something that 96% of people haven't done. The ones that do take a breath when the crisis occurs and they know they've got everything in place. So here's what I said about that partnership. Did you know Illinois is a long-term care partnership state? So this was effective in August 16th of 2007. Illinois expanded the Medicaid program to allow for Illinois qualified partnership long-term care policies purchased after that date to provide guaranteed Medicaid asset protection. And in a nutshell, if you buy a partnership qualified plan in Illinois, let's say that you've bought that plan and I put inflation riders on mine. So let's say you buy a $300,000 policy, you put a 3% compound inflation rider on it, you buy it when you're in your 60s. You need it when you're in your mid 80s and you've got $300,000 or $400,000 in there, but now you've used up your benefits and you might need to tap Medicaid. Illinois says, hey, you saved us, you saved the state that $400,000. So you're going to get to keep $400,000 in your personal assets, in your IRA, 401k, your personal savings account, and not have to spend down to $2,000 because you did that. So think of it as an asset disregard. So even a small plan can protect some assets. Some of the resources from Elderwerks, these elder law attorneys, they talk about the wonderful benefit of Medicaid. And these are North Shore attorneys, and they're talking about the wonderful benefits of Medicaid, that Medicaid planning and having Medicaid benefits there and know how to use them, and taking advantage of the Illinois partnership law by having a plan in place can protect other assets for your family. So I had thought about Medicaid as being like, uh-oh. Yes, you have a question.
I'm a family member who was currently living with her daughter. And she does have a company in her name, and I think the daughters are going to send her to a nursing home because, this, in terms of her asset and, so that's why she's just leaving her at home, trying to manage her at home, so she won't even get home health now. We're trying to tell her that get her the, home health nurse.
So she doesn't have a plan in place. She does have the money to pay for it, but she
has Medicaid.
She has Medicaid, but she's afraid to use it, or?
She uses Medicaid, but she's afraid to put her mom in a nursing home because of the asset that the mom has.
Okay. There are a number of, I'm thinking of, Peck.
Oh, yes, 100, I think.
Yeah, right across from me.
Right. across-
Elder law attorneys, they're outstanding, and those are a couple of questions with posted. I try to stay in my lane, excuse me, I try to stay in my lane, and I'd be out of bounds in trying to address that question, but they're here today to answer questions and could probably be a
It
good.
says something about asset disregard, so.
Yes, so that's if the person had a plan, let's say the person had a plan and they had a couple $100,000 in it, and they used it up in care, and now they're going into a nursing home, or now they're going onto Medicaid, they'd be able to retain $200,000 in assets because they saved the state that first $200,000. That makes sense? But do check over at booth 100 and present that question. Yes, and we have you were the first to answer a question, or first to raise a question, so we have a treat for you.
Oh.
So anyway, that partnership, it's between the Illinois Medicaid program and private insurance companies. And so the private insurance companies, that's all, not all plans are partnership qualified. Traditional long-term care plans have that qualification. So funding a long-term care plan is not beyond the means of most people. But paying $50,000 to $100,000 a year for care is. So wouldn't it be better to pay a small amount on a monthly basis or an annual basis to have a plan than to have a crisis occur? And now we've got $50,000 to $100,000 a year going out for care. And we all know people that can verify these numbers. So, and that's after tax. So cost of care survey, I hope you can see this, but it's got from 24 to 34 to 44, the cost of home care, adult day, assisted living and nursing home, what it is as of 2024, and how the numbers rise as the years go by. So we put inflation riders on these plans because the cost of care is just skyrocketing. And this is showing home care 20 hours a week. could be 36,000 or so per year now, and in 2034, 48,000, in 2044, 65,000. So we can't keep up with that. We have to transfer some risk to an insurance company or somebody to put a plan in place for us so that we can have the tax-free monthly check to pay for this care. I don't want to be there, but assisted living communities, that's $70,000 private 1-bedroom in Illinois. You've seen these numbers if you know people. Nursing home care, semi-private room. Who does that? Who wants to do that? Private room, 109,500 average in Illinois. And I'll make this up, by 2034, 147,000. These plans, you create them when you're a little bit younger, and there could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in there that's been off of monthly check to you. So we're gonna talk a little, we're gonna breeze through. How are we doing on time? I'm gonna watch myself here. Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about some plan types and costs for some actual cases that I've done, people just like you. So traditional long-term care, partnership qualified, these plans are. Okay, a traditional long-term care plan might look something like this. This is Larry. He bought a plan at 65. We put that compound inflation right around there that I discussed, and I started him with a $6,000 a month plan and a 5-year benefit period. So $6,000 a month would be the starting amount of benefit that would come in. 12 times 6, that's $72,000 a year tax-free. The benefit period that he bought was a 5-year plan. So that means from the time he went on claim, it would pay for 5 years, not 5 years from the time he bought it, but 5 years from when he might need help. So he got a 5% discount for living with a partner and a 5% discount for being in good health. His plan is partnership qualified. And on the right side, so we've got this long-term care plan. And at $6,000 a month, that means a $360,000 pool of money. So that's 12 months times 6 times the number of years, $360,000. So he gives me a premium all the way down the bottom of $318, and he has an immediate pool of $360,000 that could pay him $6,000 a month cash benefits starting day one. But we put that rider on there. So that inflation rider increased that pool of money to, what do we have here? In year 15, it has grown up to, it has fluffed up to $560,000. Year 20, $650,000. 30 years, $874,000, able to pay him $14,600 a month tax-free benefits for care. Can't do that by yourself. Yes.
Is there such thing as a policy that would cover one person, but either person?
Yes, there's joint. Yeah,
So,
there's a couple of those out there. Very cost effective too.
yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely look at that. So $318 a month. He was 65 when he bought it. That's not bad. That's not too bad. I don't think that's too. Let's take a look at this one here. And this is another traditional long-term care example. This was Hank. Now he didn't buy his plan until he was 75. And his long-term care plan, we put a 20-year 3% compound inflation rider on there because that helped reduce his premium a little bit. So that his 3% inflation rider is going to work for 20 years and then it's going to stay level. That helped with the premium a little bit. Now he couldn't get a $6,000 plan for the premium that he was looking to spend, but I did give him a $3,000 a month plan. Remember I said that if you have a partnership qualified plan, even if it's a small one, it can help you conserve assets. So his is going to start at $3,000 for 4 years. And he got a 5% discount for living with a partner and 15% because he qualified for preferred rates, even at 75. His plan is partnership qualified. So on the right side, we see he gets his plan. He started out with an initial pool of $144,000 and paying him $3,000, able to collect $3,000 a month. But that inflation rider brings it up to $193,000 or $4,000 a month in year 10. And you can see by year 20, his pool of funds is $260,000 and $5,400 a month. Will that pay for everything? No, it's going to pay for something, and it's going to give him a partnership qualified plan to conserve some assets. $373 a month. He didn't buy it until he was 75 years old. That's not too bad. Hopefully these premiums stay the same. We'll talk about that on another slide. Okay. Traditional long-term care for a married couple of any sex might look something like this. This was Philip and Jeremy for $256 for Philip and $276 a month for Jeremy. They got a $6,000 a month plan. They each got a $360,000 pool of funds. This was not a joint plan, sir. This was they each bought one.
Right.
They just applied for it at the same time. We put the inflation rider on there to increase the pool of benefits. 3% compound. It started out with 6,000 in 5 years, but look what happens to this thing. Year 15, 560,000, 650,000. Year 30, 874,000 at $14,600 a month, and it's partnership qualified. So this is a nice plan for people that started it in their 50s. Now we're going to take a peek at life insurance with accelerated or living benefit riders. The other plan was called traditional long-term care. Life insurance companies started saying, hey, how about we help out too? And so they developed plans where riders could be put onto life insurance plans. And you say, oh, I don't want to buy any more life insurance. Life insurance is a chassis that you can build on, and it is a vehicle, it's an estate planning tool that the government says you can get tax-free benefits out of. So that's why it's built around the life insurance chassis, so to speak. Some have larger death benefits, some have smaller death benefits, but these are kind of combo or hybrid plans, you might call them. So here's one. This is life insurance with the living benefit. It's gonna look like this. This is Michelle. She was interested in the life insurance plan. It's a single lady. She was looking to have a life insurance plan. She didn't have any, but she had nieces and nephews that she wanted to care for. But she also liked the idea that she could put a rider on there for long-term care for herself. So this is going to give her a monthly pool of benefit dollars if she becomes chronically ill. And we were able to put a 0-day waiting period on there for certain benefits. So her plan lets her use 4% of her death benefit for herself. So she doesn't have to pass away to use benefits, but she can use the death benefit for herself if she needs it. And if she doesn't, she leaves the benefits by beneficiary designation to the family. So what she got was a $300,000 policy that does grow over time because this was on the investment side, and her premium was only $342 a month for that $300,000 day one death benefit. If 10 years from now she passes away, the death benefit is 300,000 or whatever it is grown to. And if she never needs care, her family still gets the 300, 400, or 500,000, whatever that policy has grown to, with the cash value accumulation. This one was really interesting. This is an existing life insurance policy that a person had with a well-known company, but he had no living benefits. He had no long-term care plan. This was a doctor. So he takes this existing, he bought this when he was 30 years old, by the way, and now he comes to me and he's 64. Oops. 675,000 was the plan that he had with this brand name company, but it had no living benefits. And he was paying $7,200 a year premium, which he's going to pay for the rest of his life. No access to cash, except if he borrows it, and the interest rate is 8%. So he did what's called a 1035 exchange. If any of you have ever bought real estate and exchanged it, that's called a 1031. That's the IRS code. This is the IRS code 1035 for life insurance. He had $289,000 in this other name brand policy, but he couldn't access it unless he died or borrowed it at 8%. So we exchanged it, did tax-free repositioning of the assets from the old policy to a new one with another name brand company, but this one had living benefits on it. 4% rider for long-term care. By the way, he was 64 years old. Insurance rates have changed over the years. People are living longer. He had to pay $7,200 for that old policy at an age 30 issue age. Now he's 64. The premium with the new plan is $0. It saved it saved the $7,200. And we were able to then reposition those funds and get a plan for his wife. So his life insurance policy at death, his family's going to receive $675,000 on day one if he passed away. It's going to be growing over time. Excuse me, I said 4%. It was a 2% rider on his, and his long-term care on this. When you use the life insurance plans, the long-term care rider provides a bigger benefit in some cases, and he can collect $12,300 was his very first long-term care payment, and that's going to grow over time. So there's also another way to do this is an annuity funded long-term care plan. If you have qualified money, so you've got IRA money that you'd have to pay taxes on. It is possible to take IRA money and have that tax-free repositioned over into a new plan that has long-term care benefits where you turn taxable money into tax-free funds. So here we have an annuity funded plan. This is a single female. This is Mary. She was 70. Mary had a plan with, that was written by Hartford that was through her employer and it was only costing her $125 a month. And somehow Hartford left that premium the same after she left her employment. And I said, you hang on to that. But she wanted to subsidize it a little bit because it was only $5,000 of benefit and she wanted to pick up another $3,000. So she took $88,244 of partial IRA rollover. She moved it over into this combination plan. It has to make a pit stop in the annuity first, because this is how they build it. It goes into an annuity, and that annuity then, by the way, it gave her, because it's just how they're built, the $88,000, she was bonused $22,060 by the insurance company to cover the taxes. That then spins off $11,000 a year that pays a premium on a life insurance plan that has the long-term care rider. So all of this kind of happens seamlessly. So she ends up with a life insurance policy that has a $74,000 death benefit and lifetime $3,000 a month long-term care benefit to subsidize the $5,000 that she already had. So this was a really nice, she wasn't using this $88,000. You could say the same about CDs. You know, there's lazy money sitting around that's not earning much. So sometimes we have these little pockets of money that we don't know about. An annuity funded life plan for a married couple. This was where two people serve on a plan. We to ask about that. $150,000 partial 457 rollover went into that same annuity. It then was bonus $30,000. So they repositioned 150 to the company. They got bonus $30,000, which gave them 180,000. And then 80,000, that 180,000's spun off 18,000 to pay for the life insurance for 10 years. They created a life insurance policy with a lifetime long-term care benefit of $5,288 for each of them and a death benefit of $176,000. So not a huge investment, 150, 176 if they never needed care. Let me slow that down a little bit. They put 150,000 in, and if they reached an age of where they passed away and they never needed care, the family would get back their 176,000. So not a huge investment, but little profit. But had they needed care, or one of them, $5,288 tax-free for life. That's not bad. It was 150,000 that they weren't going to need, that they weren't living on. Now we're going to take a look at life with a long-term care hybrid type plan. Call this an asset-based hybrid plan. This is somebody with 151,955 CD that was maturing. If they, as a current asset, that 151,000, if we looked at a 6% return on it, would grow to 285,000 by age 85. What else could we do? Exchange it over for a hybrid plan. Immediate long-term care benefit. This is impressive. $853,664. It's leveraged. You take the 151,000, move it over. There's an immediate 853,000 that could spin off $8,000 of tax-free long-term care funds for 8 years. By age 85, this is guaranteed, by the way. This isn't, oh, maybe is it going to grow, or cross your fingers. 1.8 million, $14,882 that'll cover 8 years of care, all tax-free. With an inflation rider in there, there's a death benefit in there too of $192,000. So if that person passes away and never needed care, the family gets the money back tax-free. Like, that was Wayne, 64. That was impressive. Another asset-based plan. This is Mike at $250,000 in a Roth IRA. This is a higher net worth family. Wasn't going to be touching this money. Anything left to the kids. The stretch IRA is gone now. The kids have to pay taxes on it and take it over a 10-year period. But instead, he put it in here. That current $250,000 would have grown to at 6%, $849,000, and it would have all been taxable. We exchanged it over into that hybrid plan. It gave him an immediate $1.4 million long-term care benefit that could spin off $13,000 of tax-free money for 8 years. That was impressive. At age 85, it's 2.6 million. These are guarantees. This is just the way they're built. With a monthly benefit of $24,000, over $24,000 for an 8-year period, tax-free benefit. And there's a death benefit there of $315,000. Annuities with long-term care benefits can be easier to qualify for with just a few simple questions. There's a lot of old annuities out there that aren't doing anything. They're fully taxable when you take the money out. A current plan, here's 200,000 in a non-qualified annuity that had no long-term care benefits. We exchange it over for a new plan, a single premium annuity with long-term care benefits. It gave 504,000 today, or 8,400 in 5 years. By 92, that benefit, what we exchange, 200,000, 602,000 for a monthly benefit of 10,000, over 10,000 for 5 years. There's a death benefit in there, 214,000, tax-free at age 92. We don't use the money for care. So how easy can it be? Some annuity plans have only 4 questions. Do you currently use any mechanical devices, wheelchair, etc.? Do you need help doing any of the activities of daily living? So are you already qualified for a nursing home? If you say no to that, have you been diagnosed with Alzheimer's? And have you been tested positive for HIV? If you can say no to those 4 questions, you can qualify for an annuity-based long-term care plan. It's that easy. Short-term care, this is kind of something new that we're working with. This is a shorter term period of time, but short-term care can have a 0-day waiting period. We can issue these from 50 to 89. And might look something like this. With a 0-day waiting period for a nursing home, their maximum benefit is $12,000 a month for 51 weeks. So the short-term care now, but just think about that car accident, that long illness, a long COVID, anything where we need the recovery time. 0-day waiting period, $152 a month. Deb is 63. We put the home care rider on there that gave her $1,200 a week for 52 weeks. That added $60 a month. This is a really nice plan with for $212 a month. And that's let's say you use the care and then go back into good health, and you can renew this, and so that you can get a maximum of 104 weeks, which is 2 years out of that. This was another one for and we're nearing the end here. This is another one for Marino, age 74. So you can see the cost at 100 days. He'd be $272 a month. This is a 100-day waiting period. $272 a month for the nursing home, $137 for the home care rider for $409. Or with a 20-day waiting period, you can see the premiums there. It's easy underwriting. It's also easier to get into this short-term care plan too. This could be a nice thing for somebody that has maybe a 90-day or a 6-month or a 1-year waiting period on an existing long-term care plan. So you can cover the front end of that, because the front end of a long-term care incident could cost you $10,000 a month. So even a 90-day waiting period could be $30,000 out of pocket. So when and why with short-term? I talked simplicity. There can be no waiting period. It can be an add-on to your existing coverage. There's underwriting advantages. It's more relaxed. And it's not just Plan B. This is the core of some people's plans. Maybe you take a 1-year wait on your big plan and you buy this short-term plan there. So available ages 40 to 89. So it's not just about the money. It's not just about having a policy, but all of these have these robust care concierge services. That first call that you make, set up your claim, but your care specialist communicates on your behalf with your doctors. These are all quotes from the insurance companies. Program designed to help you put your policy in action so you get the care you need. This care coordinator contacts there for you, match you up with local facilities, use Elderwerks for the resources. Benefits include care coordination services at no cost with all these companies. So this is not something that you have to hire out, that they help with everything. So count the many ways to fund a plan. I'm just talking quick about funding it. We talked about investments, CDs. You can exchange an old annuity. Free 59.5. We can take $2,500 without the 10% penalty from a traditional retirement plan to help us if we're younger. We can exchange existing life insurance that's got some cash value. You saw one of those. We can also sell a policy for cash. This is a whole different program. but there's such a thing called life settlement options. If you have an old life insurance policy and you're not in the best of health and you'd rather have it exchanged for some cash that you could use for your care, you can do that. You can use IRAs, 401ks, 403bs. We saw qualified money can be bonused, where the insurance company actually pays the taxes on it for you, helps you pay the taxes. You can use your RMDs. How many people have RMDs that they're not using and they're sitting there with no long-term care and worrying about that? Redirect some of that money, turn that money into tax-free funds. We work it into our budget. We work it into our budget and pay on a monthly basis. Or that rainy day fund that you had there accumulating hasn't grown very much. Maybe it would do better by repositioning it in a traditional plan. Just a quick industry update. There have never been more options for long-term care plan solutions out there than I've seen, and I don't think it's going to get any better. Everything from recovery care plans to annuity-based plans, like we said, pay a bonus on the IRA, exchanges, even plans for those not in the best of health. We talked about that. As of 2024, most states have that partnership program, with the exception of Alaska, Hawaii, Mississippi, Utah, and Washington. New long-term care premiums, if you've heard horror stories about the past, they should be more rate stable than in the past. 41 states have now enacted strict pricing and rate adjustment regulations in place, so companies have to justify what's going on, and the plans have been repriced. We haven't seen a rate increase change on a traditional long-term care policy since 2014. The Society for Actuaries estimates that long-term care plans that have been priced since that time have only a 10% probability of a rate increase, and if they did, they estimate that it would average maybe 10%. And I haven't seen anything yet. So frequently asked questions. I can take your questions. Here's some that people frequently ask. What happens if I buy a policy and never need care? If you have a traditional one, it's use it or lose it. If you have some of these other ones, you saw they had death benefit, they have liquidity to them. Yes, you can receive care in another state if you move. Are there tax advantages to paying for care versus depleting my retirement savings? You saw that too, because you can get bonused and turn that taxable money into tax-free funds. Policies do cover Alzheimer's if diagnosed down the road. Once you have a plan, there's no pre-existing look back or anything like that. Policy renewals are guaranteed. Your policy cannot be taken away from you. Can you buy a policy on yourself and not your spouse? Yes, both don't have to qualify. What's the best age? Gosh, the best age is the age you are sitting in this room. We're not going to get any younger. So if it's something that's on your mind, I think that's on the slide too. If applying for a plan before next birthday, is that a good idea? I'm crazy about the birthdays. I always watch the birthdays because that is an age change and that's a price change. And depending upon the plan and type, as we get older, that can be significant. It could be 6 to 10%. Actor Denzel Washington said, it's better to be ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's what I hope I've helped you today, to get ready so you don't have to face a crisis and not have the source of funds. So questions, anybody in this room, welcome to schedule questions now, and also an optional 30-minute consultation with us. My staff can schedule a time with you. My contact information is there. You've received a black bag that has all our information in it. I've been doing this for decades. I'm certified in long-term care planning, and I would be happy to answer your questions and have that consultation with you and just kind of see, talk about budget, assets, what's the best kind of plan for you.